All right, folks, welcome back. All right, we live here now? Are we? No, I'm just joking. We're not live. All right, folks, it's Wednesday, January 13th. It's about 5:45 p.m. Welcome to Milk House Talk. We are in the old milk house. In fact, my lazy butt right now is sitting. The bulk tank used to come up to here. Cheers. It's been a hell of a day. I'll share some of it with you. This is Milk House Talk. I'm going to talk about that as well and what we're going to do with that. This little new series that we're not going to abuse. This is once in a great while. Tonight's little discussion is what I've been talking about for some time. It's my feed inventory report. Report made by me. Numbers don't lie. Finishing up Christmas beers that are left over. I got one Busch Light and I got one Budweiser. Pretty good combination, I think. All right, Milk House Talk. We're going to do this once in a great while with information that, you know, some of you, there's some of you out there, and I really appreciate this. There's a lot of you that don't either, which I'm fine with. I don't care. Some of you are very interested in some of the things that are done here. You know, with some of the numbers, not financially, some of the numbers and some of the ways of doing things and everything else. So what I'm trying to say is I'm respectfully going to take a time out instead of walking around the cattle yard, cow yard, or the heifer lot, or in a tractor where my words are all fumbly, which they're going to be fumbly on this too. Just to sit down, settle down, and talk some business. For example, this video is this is dedicated to my feed inventory. I'm just going to share with you what I have or what I'm lacking. Some of you are going to get a good chuckle out of this. I've been laughed at for a long time. I'm fine with it. Another example of having one of these milk house talks. That's what I'm going to call it. And by the way, I just made that up like 15 minutes ago. It's pretty snazzy if you ask me. I'm a fancy person. Another example would be today. One of my dealings today was I sealed my seed needs for this year of 2021. I've done a pile of soul searching here in the past multiple weeks. The last 3 nights, I've dedicated myself to my kitchen table, which I treat as my office. You know, I'm not too smart, so I got to sit down multiple nights in a row. I got to doodle on some paper. I'm always doodling. I have to put things on paper. I have to make them make sense. I have to see them. What I'm trying to tell you is I have finally nailed down my crop. I'm going to call it my crop rotation for 2021. My inputs, what I'm putting in the ground, and harvesting. There's going to be some eye-opening, maybe even some possible disappointments with some of it. Maybe. I'm a little bit in disbelief myself in some of the things that I'm going to do and not do this year. I will share that on a very near future video of a Milk House Talk. And I'm going to share with you what I'm doing for seed companies that I'm using, the varieties of that seed. The list goes on and on. Another good example of one of these Milk House Talks is going to be my my AI sire uses this year. You know, I'm not there yet. It's still early. You know, I like getting things done ahead of time, though. You know, locking them up. When I completely figure out all my AI sires, what I'm using, I'll put on one of these videos. I'm going to give you what I'm using. I'm going to give you my picks based on my wants, needs, and past knowledge. And the goal and hope here is not to share an education, because I don't think that that's something that I can put my claim to fame on. It's just sharing information, and it's hopeful that you know, if a couple thousand people see this, a few thousand, if I'm, you know, lucky, maybe it will help one person decide something one way or another, for the good or the bad. So that's my reasoning behind this new little series that we're going to start, which is not going to be often. Milk House Talk. So it's about keeping life fun, interesting, sharing information the best that you can. There's some information I will not share with you. It's private. I don't think I need to go further on that. Okay. The one thing you need to understand before I start this is my videos are not rehearsed. A huge pat on the back to those where they are rehearsed and editing and everything else. I'm a big fan of those channels and those videos. That's my viewing enjoyment. This channel, as you know, is different. I shoot by the hip. Whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say is watch your corrections respectfully. Understand that there's 15 or 20 different variables for every topic that we're going to talk about, or every sentence that comes out of my mouth. I have a method for my madness, just like everybody else does. And I'm very inviting to comments. I will tell you right now that some comments over the last few years, many comments, have prompted me to look at things differently. And in fact, I've done some things differently according to comments. I really have. But just let's all understand that we all have our own way, and there's 1,000 variables for everything that's done. Okay. Oh, it's been a long day. That and that old checkbook, it's pretty hot today. It's on fire. All right, enough of that. Feed inventory. This feed inventory was taken, obviously, by me on December 5th. So we're lagging behind pretty good here on this video, but here it is. As of December 5th, 2020, my dry hay bales, dry hay, round bales, it's 213 bales. Oof. Peas and oats baleage, 74 bales. Sorghum baleage, 161. Remember, this is as of December 5th. Alfalfa baleage, 183. And corn silage. I'm going to give you the science behind the corn silage in a little bit. Corn silage is going to be our magical savior of a word within this inventory report. The one thing I'm not going to bore you with is the small square counts of straw that was done and small squares of hay that's up in the barn. I couldn't tell you how many bales are left. I know that we're secure for the most part. So, ooh, that's scrumptious. I like to up the ante a little bit on certain things. What that means is grazing season always starts here March, April, the third week of May. It's on the calendar. It can't be missed. It's the third week of May. March, April, yeah, May always starts. I put a little extra ante on this. I did my feed inventory report according to June 1st. As of 12/5/20, there are 177 days of feeding before June 1st. First thing we're going to talk about is the cow yard. The cow yard, these are my projections. My projections are already wrong. And some of you are going to call me out on that immediately, and rightfully so. There was some wishful thinking going on here. Cow yard, 2 bales of high moisture a day and 1 dry hay a day. Dry round bale of hay a day. For a grand total before June 1st, 354 high moisture bales and 177 dry bales. Let's talk about the cow yard. That's not far off. I'm wrong in my dry hay department. If you had to add it up, it's pretty much it's basically a bale and a half a day. Now, right now, if there's some people thinking a half a bale a day, you're fine. That's huge. That is huge. So I'm definitely off on my projections for the cow yard. All right, let's go on to the heifer lot. Heifer lot, 2 bales of high moisture a week and 1 bale of dry hay a week to make a grand total of 52 high moisture bales needed before now through June 1st and 26 bales of dry round bales. Now let's talk about the heifer lot. For the most part, that 2 bales of high moisture is pretty much correct. A lot of times there's a 6-day deal instead of 7. That extra day is worth a lot, folks. The one thing I'm really liking here is the 1 dry round bale a week. You know, it's the big 4x6, the pure alfalfa dry. That is lasting well longer than a week. For example, right now they're basically eating the ground right now to get the last bit of morsels from the high moisture bales they just got a little while ago. I'm going to make them clean up and eat that dry bale of hay that's out there. So for the most part, the heifer lot is true according to my what I wanted to happen here. But we're on the positive with that 1 bale of dry hay. Now understand that heifer lot gets a healthy grain ration every night. So that kind of plays into their feeding or lack thereof. And then of course we have the bulls. You got to include them in there. There's only 2 of them, but you got to include them in. They're eating all day long. I've got them down for 1 dry bale every 10 days. Which is a pure form of dry alfalfa 4x6 round bale. That ended up to be bogus for the positive. They just got a brand new dry bale of pure alfalfa 4x6 now. They got that the day or 2 after I brought Remington home from the Revels. And if I'm not mistaken, that was about 2 days before Christmas. So that's pretty stinking good. So anyway, we're to the positive on projections with the bulls. So what does that mean? Total proposed needed feed through June 1st. 406 bales of high moisture. I'm 12 bales to the positive. Talk about running a fine line. Total proposed needed feed, 220 dry round bales of hay. I'm 7 bales to the negative. Once again, talk about running a damn fine line. In an effort to put a small band-aid on this shortage, because that's what this is. This spells feed shortage. unfortunately, after a bunker buster of a year. That's the definition of trouble coming. I've got an answer for that though. Trust me, this little pea brain's been working overtime. Reading this makes me want to drink. Respectfully. Oh, it's so good. In an effort to help put a Band-Aid on this, as I said, I've already started buying some round bales of dry hay. I made a very nice deal for him and me. Both are happy. It's roughly 2 miles away. I can haul 9 bales at a load. I'm on my second load. I've secured a third one. And we'll see what happens after that. Okay, now we need to talk about corn silage. Corn silage is going to be the savior here. For a few years or so, I've always called the silos and the corn silage in them an insurance policy. Now that's half stupid. You can't hardly call it an insurance policy because you know what? I put it in the ground. I paid for all the inputs. I paid for the custom harvesting. Put it in the silo. It's a feed source. There's something about feed in the silo though that I'm going to continue to call an insurance policy. And due to this feed inventory report and the lack thereof, it has become my absolute insurance policy. What I'm trying to say is this. There is 10 full doors on the 18-foot diameter silo. That's all the silage that was put in this year. I'm going to tell you what that 10 doors is going to do for me though. It's going to save my rear end. We've got it down to an absolute science here. Whether you agree with it or not, we don't weigh feed for the most part. No, we don't weigh feed. There's an absolute science by eye. Dad and I have got it down pat. We know what a small, medium, and a full wagon load of corn silage is. A medium hay wagon, a medium silage wagon per day will take a, will last, well, I lost my train of thought here. Will last 1 door a week. Yes. Well, with the amount of head of cattle out there now, because I'm so smart, you know, adding on with not enough feed, I've got it penciled in for corn silage to start April 1st. A couple videos ago, I said something about another spell of mild weather. By the way, we had 37 degrees today. About opening the silos, no way, ain't doing it. Corn silage to start April 1st. 2 medium wagons a day for 5 weeks. That's huge. It's going to save this farm. It's going to save my rear end. And it's going to save the lack of feed that I have. That corn silage that's in the silo. What I'm trying to tell you right now is even though I'm buying a little bit of dry hay right now, and that this feed inventory is criable, this farm is safe. We're okay. We're going to be okay. Now, understand, I've actually already upped the ante a little bit on high moisture bales to the cow herd because of the corn silage. That 5 weeks of corn silage every day, 2 medium wagons every day, is going to take the place of high moisture round bales. So right now we're talking a savings of 70. Well, okay, what are we talking here? 5 weeks times 735 times 2. We're talking 70 bales of high moisture round bales. That is huge. It's huge for us, huge for me. Drop in the bucket to some. I don't care. I'm concentrating on what's going on here. Speaking the obvious right now. This does make me upset. I'm not happy about this, but it's okay. There's a fix for everything. almost. So anyway, I'm already up in the ante a little bit on high moisture round bales. In lieu of that extra dry bale, because the corn silage starting April 1st is going to save those bales. And right now, being that I'm feeding more high moisture and taking away from the dry round bales, I'm saving on some dry round bales. If you can make that make sense. I only hope that some of you can follow me here. Like I said, this isn't rehearsed. So anyway, that's my feed inventory for the year. A very careful consideration needs to be put on it when feeding. And like I said, this is the definition of troubles coming if changes aren't being made. And I say that because we came off of a stellar, record-breaking in some areas year. You get a mediocre year or a bad year, I'm in a pile of trouble. I'm selling cattle. Period. Selling cattle. So there's a fix for this. Some of my methods of madness are going to end up on our next Milk House Talk video. And it's going to be, and we'll do it within the next few weeks or so, somewhere's around there. It's going to be based upon my seed purchasing for this coming year. And then therefore, you're going to learn the crop rotations for this farm and all the property that I farm and the leased land and owned land and everything else. This report right here has prompted my 2021, I call it my crop rotation report. It's everything that's going in, what's going to be what, I mean down to the nitty gritty, even what's getting square baled. So I urge anybody to really look what you're doing right now, feed inventory, if things are a little bit scarce, and put your science to it now for this coming year to come. Be prepared. In my case, I had to. Thank God I put forth a little bit of education, a little bit of effort, the little that I have, towards this. And like I said, some major, major decisions were made in the last, let's just say 2 weeks, according to this feed inventory. And all we can do is hope for the best. And everything should be okay. Hard work, dedication, nose to the grindstone 7 days a week. It's supposed to be okay, right? We'll see. So 2-3 weeks from now, I'm going to share with you. I'm pretty excited about it. There's going to be some exciting things going on this year. For me, anyway. I hope some of you follow along. I'll share with you what we're going to do for crop rotations. And sometime directly after that, because it's coming, my sire picks for this year. Coming up, AI breeding season. And remember, I'm not an educator, I'm not a teacher, I'm just sharing you with what I'm doing. I'm very hesitant to give a push on certain things, but I'm also looking very forward to the AI sire video, because there's some sires through Gen X that are the proof is in the pudding. One of them, I'll just tell you right now, is Prime Cut. I'm sicker than a dog that I will not be purchasing semen straws of Prime Cut this year. I can't. And it's because of my heifer keepback program. And everything else. I don't want to get tangled in on that. I don't want to have to become a mad scientist and pick and choose. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. Maybe I'm not smart enough for that. It's a 2-year program and you're out. Not just actual live bowls, but my AI program. I can tell you right now, I'm looking so forward after what I've seen this year of prime cuts, first calves come out. And of course, there's lots of cows that are out there pregnant with, you know, AI by prime cut this year. I'm very excited to see his calves come yet once again. That name I will share with you fully and solely. And anyway, now I'm rambling. What else is going on? Merry Christmas. I tell you what, Budweiser came out with some beautiful cans this year. Pretty neat. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just a little bit thicker than that Busch Light. So that's all I got, folks. Welcome to the first Milk House Talk. Hope I didn't put a lot of you to sleep. Hope you enjoyed the feed inventory little report here. And like I said, in 2 to 3 weeks, or whatever it's going to be, maybe it'll be sooner, I don't know, no promises. We're going to put a big recap on this. And one last time, a lot of major decisions have been made in the last week and a half, couple weeks, according to this report. And how ugly it is. So, anyway, that's about all I got. I got a few things due tonight. Here, dark or not, which it already is. I got a couple of reports I got to write. And I think I have a bowl of tomato soup with a full ring of saltine crackers in it, you know, for health reasons. And a garlic bologna sandwich calling my name in front of an old Western in a nice warm house. Hope everybody's doing okay. I really do. I hope this is halfway interesting for some of you. I can assure you that the next one will be with my seed program, and I'm going to go through all my fields for the most part and share with you my thoughts on changes that need to happen so I don't end up in trouble and have to sell cattle. Basically, I tell you what, I'm going to cut you the mustard right now. I was a stone cold liar last year. Last year I spit out of my mouth, and I never really gave you my big answers for it. I spit out of my mouth multiple times about back to basics, back to basics, back to basics. It is bullshit. There's some things that I did follow and followed through on with my planning of back to basics. For the most part, I hardly did anything different. And that has to stop, and it is going to stop. It stops. There's some big changes coming. We're going to up the ante on some stuff. We're going to deplete others. And I guess what it comes down to here is I need to understand that I'm running a beef operation here, by God. And some of this fancy-dancy stuff, I'll admit it, I don't have any shame. Some of this fancy-dancy stuff needs to go bye-bye, because the fancy-dancy stuff is it's causing some anxiety. We don't like anxiety. Might have to go off on disability if I get it too bad, you know. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry about that. I think this is a good time for me to get off here. Folks, hope you enjoyed. Hope everybody's doing okay. We're going to talk to you sooner or later.